Today, I want to welcome a very special guest. Welcome Sherri Green. She is from Victoria, BC, and we met each other on Facebook actually. She was so open and brave and so lovely to come on the show and tell her side of her story and what her journey looks like. Welcome, and thank you for taking time to be with us today.
Hi, Sonia. Thank you. This is a wonderful opportunity, to
Thank
be
you.
there and remind women that they're not alone. And I think that's one of the biggies. That's really a big one.
Most definitely. Before we get into any of this, I want to know how you are today.
Yeah, I'm excited. How am I today? My energy's gotten so much better because I've been taking care of myself. I feel very blessed. I really do. I feel so blessed.
We are definitely privileged and blessed to have you tell your story.
Hmm.
I always say that, there's little pieces of ourselves that we find in others and in their stories when you listen closely. And there's always something we can learn. Even if we have exactly the same diagnosis, it looks different.
Sure does. It sure does.
So, what does it feel like to speak to all these strangers about such an intimate topic?
A little nervous. Yeah. I'm gonna probably cry and laugh, and there's some parts that are very sensitive. But I think, the vulnerability isn't
Yeah.
easy for most people to show that. And
Yes,
that's such an important part of the healing and our
I
journeys.
agree.
So I'm here, and I chose to be here with you and to talk to your peoples.
Thank you. Beyond all of this, who are you? What does your life look like? What do you love? What makes you you? Tell us about yourself.
Tell us about myself. Oh my gosh. It feels like I'm in a constant transition. And yeah, I was an acupuncturist. I was doing massage and body work, body mind for years and years. I lived in Maui, Hawaii for almost 30 years and had a full-time practice there. And I left Hawaii in 2009 because of a relationship. People say, why did you leave Hawaii? Anyways, it was time, you know. The relationship was life-changing, and to leave Maui was life-changing. So yeah, coming to Canada, I was born in Toronto, but my husband was from BC, British Columbia. And my work started changing, and then I started coaching people and helping them on their journey. And
Wow.
eventually learned Qigong. I also teach Qigong. And but when I got sick, I let go of so much of it and really focused on myself. So these days I'm doing some coaching, I'm teaching Qigong, and it's more like transformational coaching.
Okay.
So right now, I recently got my diagnosis, and the third time. This is my third cancer story. So it's a wake-up
Deep.
call, and I'm very,
Sure.
very blessed to have so much support in my life. And I do specific healing practices. I have a wonderful Buddhist teacher, and he's been an incredible support for me right now. So, yeah, my life right now is a lot about self-care and nurturing and really listening,
What?
deeper, listening deeper
Yes.
to me.
Present with yourself. And in the moments where we normally just run through quickly,
Slowing down, right?
slowing
The
down. That's it.
slowing down has been, medicine. It is deeply medicine.
Can you take us through your diagnosis, not the textbook medical diagnosis, the way that you would explain it, the way that you experienced it?
Which one?
Shall we start at the beginning? Because I
Yeah,
would be interested to really hear the story. I think
yeah,
it may be really helpful to people to know.
yeah. The first one, Sonia, was so shocking, so shocking. I had a hard mass in my belly. I thought it was a fibroid. It was 2020. COVID was happening. And I tried to get an ultrasound, and they were so busy, so it took a while to get the ultrasound. I finally got the ultrasound, and they said, "No, Sherri, this is not a fibroid. This is a mass, a 13-centimeter mass on your ovary, and
Oh
it's
my
probably
goodness.
cancer." And I was like, "Whoa!" Shock, absolute shock. It took a while to see the oncologist. In fact, when she came into the room, she said, "I'm so sorry, Sherri, we lost your papers." So that was, yeah. Anyways, she was awesome, awesome, awesome. And I like to say her name is Dr. Tinker. Beautiful, wonderful oncologist and wonderful woman. So my husband came with me to that appointment, and I was still hoping it wasn't. And I think a lot of people relate to that, right? It didn't really land in me yet. I was still, you know, hey, I'm doing everything, and for healing. And anyways, she pulls her chair up close. Our knees are touching. She looks deep into my eyes and she says, "Sherri, this is 99.9% cancer." Tears just flowed down my face. Colin crying. He took my hand, and reality hit. Yeah, it was absolute shock.
How do you process that moment? What happened next?
Back then, we were driving home, and my dear friend called me, and she said, "Cher, God made chemo too." And I was someone who would say, I would never do chemo. Never, right? And when I heard those words, and it was like, whoa. I was third stage, so it was spreading. And, the judgment softened, and I knew that I was to go this route. And it was terrifying. total unknown, right? We all know that the unknown, yeah, it was. But I knew I had to do that time, and Colin and I had been separated. In fact, I think there was so much stress. I won't go into that right now, but we separated in March, just before COVID came fully on. And we were slowly getting back together. And he said, I want to be the one to take care of you.
Wow.
And I, probably for the very first time in my life, I needed that. And he moved back in. His nephew was living with us. So he moved out and Colin moved back in. And we started a couple of weeks from there, the first chemo session.
What did
So
that look
him,
like?
oh yeah, so him and my dog got me through it, and all my other healing modalities and my dear friends and family. What it looked like. Oh, well, as my hair started falling out, so I put my hand through my hair and clumps of hair would fall out. And I said, Colin, yeah, shave my head. I want a little bit of control, right? Not just patches
Yeah,
coming out. So he
right.
shaved my head, and I felt this hairless freedom. That there was a silver lining with that. And my mother's friend sent me these beautiful little knitted caps because it was winter time and it was cold. And there was a lavender hat that I used to always wear. And
Lovely.
yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
Hmm.
Yeah.
When did you realize something was wrong the second time?
The second time. The second time, my doctor called me and said, Sherri, we need to do some CT scan. And I think he just sensed something. I forget how that all happened. This was August of 23. Colin and I were not doing well. His health wasn't good. He was on a lot of meds. I was walking on eggshells, and I was planning to leave after 17 years. I was also part of an incredible program called Bold and Visible. And
Bold and visible,
this really changed my life. I was doing
right?
somatic work. I was unwinding the whole chemo experience, the whole cancer experience from my nervous system. And we were crafting our transformational story. So I was getting really strong in 2023, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And to get that diagnosis was another immense shock. And I had stage 2 breast cancer. I got a lumpectomy in October 23. The next month, I got on stage in front of 500 people sharing my transformational story. And I shared some of these things that you're asking me. I shared that in the story. I didn't
That's
want to do my
incredible.
cancer story. And beautiful Kelly Elwins, she said, Sherri, cancer has been your catalyst. And that was profound for me. And then I got to see, okay, let's go deeper with this. And I teach transformation. Transformation's been a big theme of my whole life. And so that changed me deeply, deeply, deeply. And getting in front of 500 people and sharing my story was
Very brave.
a
Wow.
huge threshold.
And it was very soon after the diagnosis that you did that as well.
You know, Sonia, I had to do it. And Callie called me. She says, are you up for this? I said, yeah, I got to do this. And why? That feeling was an amazing feeling because I had to do that for my life, for my life force. Do you know what I mean? I
Yes.
couldn't just stay in bed. I had, you know, it just forced me. It was the catalyst. It just propelled me. It's like, no, I gotta do this. Because if I don't do this, I'm going to stay in an old place.
It's like that, the words of the song, this is my fight song. Like you just need to get up, arise. You
You
just need
got it.
to,
You got
you
it.
have to get up,
You
right?
got it. December 23, I left my marriage, that relationship, and I moved to a tiny little island of 250 people
Wow.
and did some very deep, deep healing with myself. So courage did come in, yes. And I had
Yeah.
to. I had to find my strength. The love between Colin and I was huge, although I couldn't heal in all the stress that was there.
Understand that.
I can see it. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
You said that you were diagnosed a third time.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, to answer that question, I got to tell you this part. In Canada, we have something called MAID. MAID stands for Medical Assisted in Dying. Colin called me up in May of 24 and said, I just signed the papers for MAID. Another shock. June 26, 2025, I held his hand while he was administered injections, and he left this plane. I was then, soon after that, my doctor wanted me to get some tests done, and make a long story short, I was diagnosed with 4th stage breast cancer. Have you ever heard of new medicine? The German new
No.
medicine? Dr. Hammer?
No.
Yeah, Dr. Hammer, incredible man. He was an oncologist in Germany, Italy. 1978, he found out his son was killed by a gunshot, unexpected, on vacation in the Mediterranean. Soon after that, he had testicular cancer, and his wife also got cancer. He started researching his patients. He was an oncologist himself. He started researching his patients, going deeper into their story like you're doing with me. And he found out most of his patients had an unexpected shock and then got cancer. And he found out it doesn't happen in the body first, it happens in the brain first. That shock registers, and it's the research that he has done, and he lived, 40 more years at least after all of this, and he's written books, and it's quite profound, very, very profound. And I also wanted to do this, Sonia, because I wanted to share more that spiritual and emotional part to cancer.
Yes.
And I know you resonate to that, and I felt that. And I looked at your website. And I think that's so important. And finding out about the new medicine and what Dr. Hammer found out about that unexpected shock and what that does. So it's not just a loss, it's a shock, right? And that registers. So the grief has been tremendous. I had no idea what this would put me through on every single level. And then the cancer showed up again. And it was I had nowhere to land. I was in a free fall for many months. But fortunately, I have such deep support, and all. I just came to a whole new place in myself with it.
What does treatment look like for you on this?
Well, they told me it's not curable. So no chemo, no radiation. Thank God. I didn't want to do that anyways. They've wanted to do some medications. And so that's what it looks like right now.
I have all these questions I want to ask you, and somehow, forgive me, but I just feel a little empty right now. What do you do to get through each day?
Breathing. What's true for me is I get up and this is the most precious human birth. And I've had moments where I have not wanted to be here. And now, oh my gosh, I feel free, Sonia. more and more and more, and loving myself every day. I take specific supplements. My diet is very specific. My body is just telling me everything of what to do. The side effects from the medication is not been comfortable, but I get to walk in nature, and I get to love my loved ones.
Still have days where you feel isolated, where nobody understands this?
Yes, of course. Of course. Yeah, I have those dark days. And also, do I tell people? This time, I haven't told too many people. I'll be honest here. I felt a little ashamed with it. It's like, shoot, again? Like, what's going on here, right? Like, I felt like I'm being a host to this. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. So I've really looked at that deeply. And I choose not to be a host to this anymore.
Yes.
And I know my strength, and I know I'm a very resilient being. And when I put my mind to something, I'm very determined. And all the support I have, the spiritual support, the physical, the emotional, dear friends and neighbors, and it's been pretty amazing. And yet it's my journey, right?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
my journey. This is our journey. We're all on this journey. I don't want to say it's as a cliche, but we are spiritual beings having this physical experience. Yeah?
Correct. Yes.
We're energetic beings. And embracing my whole self, this is really what this is about. And this third diagnosis, the word that just came to me is a homecoming. Homecoming to myself. Yeah. I know. I'm looking at this probably very differently than a lot of other people. But being the third time, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. And yeah, fourth stage, I'm going to beat this.
Well, it's a beautiful way to look at it. And I love that you look at it that way, because you could be sitting in the corner and just saying, this is it. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it very often happens. So
Yeah.
I mentioned it before that after I was diagnosed and after my surgery, I was told that I have toxic positivity. But what is the alternative? And where does the alternative get you? For us to heal, and for us to do introspection, and for us to hold on to faith, and for us to hang on to God, we need to want to get up. We need to want to not just make a difference for ourselves, but for those around us. It needs to mean something.
Absolutely.
So I love how
Absolutely.
you are doing this. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
you brought tears to my eyes, dear. As we get up, right? As we meet this in a whole new way, in a whole new way, this ripples out to
Yes,
all beings. And what am I
yes.
here for? What am I here for? And I've always been a service soul, and this is the next level. I'm 67, and you know, who knows how long I have? They said I've got 4 to 5 years. Ha! I got way more than that. Right?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah,
you. I'm backing you.
yes. Yeah. And it's easy to feel overwhelmed by it, but I'm just kind of letting it happen, you know? And I'm not chasing anything right now. I'm showing up. I'm showing up when I show up. Yeah. Even the healing, you know, um, it's within me. You know, in our Qigong, we're connecting with that Qi, right? With that life force that's always been with us. There's an original blueprint within each one of us
Mm.
that we can connect to. It's a very, very deep place. It's beyond our fears, beyond our beliefs, beyond our conditioning and programming. It's a very deep, deep place. That blueprint is there. And that blueprint doesn't have cancer. That life force is available to tap
Yeah.
into, to heal. I was at a Qigong class on Zoom about a couple of months ago, and we got into different groups. And my partner, we were doing healing work with each other, and my partner had healed from 4th stage cancer. And I was like, oh my gosh, was I to meet you? And I'd just been diagnosed. So it is possible. It is possible. You are not your diagnosis. I am not my diagnosis. So, yeah, I'm being told that it's not curable. The difference between cure and healing.
There
I'm
is a
sure
difference.
you've looked at
Yes,
that deeply. Yeah.
yes, yes. Um, was there anything about this journey that you felt it taught you something that you never expected?
Oh my, so much. I call this the silver linings. I love that. There's always silver linings. One of the first silver linings, I had to learn to receive. And I was a major giver, over giver, and I think you can relate to that, and a lot of people listening to this, that over caretaking and not being able to receive. I remember years and years ago, a Hawaiian kahuna said to me, Sherri, you got to learn how to receive. And I didn't even know what that meant back then. Cancer brought me to my knees. That first cancer, I had terrible fainting spells. I have low blood pressure, so it brought my blood pressure even lower. Colin would find me just on the floor, passed out, and yeah. So I needed to be taken care of, which was a real big one for me. So
Yeah.
learning to receive was huge. What else? The unexpected. Just really surrendering my resistance. Trusting in a way, way deeper way than I ever had.
Were there moments in this journey that you felt pure joy, if that's possible, in this journey?
Pure joy? Yes, of course. That's like my second name. That's what I'm doing. I'm following my joy, Sonia. Oh gosh, I remember, there were so many moments. Oh, when I had the surgery, the first surgery, I had a beautiful team of surgeons, women surgeons, and I remember being in the room after the surgery, and she came in with this huge smile on her face, and she says, "Sherri, we got it all," and we thought it was just
Oh,
she thought it was gonna be like a mess in there, right? And she was just elated. And I was supposed to be in the hospital, I don't know, 4 or 5 days or something like that. I was out in about 24 hours.
wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, yeah. I sent her flowers the next year. Yeah, she was just beautiful. So that was great. When my doctor called me and said, "Sherri, you're cancer free after the ovarian cancer," and she says a lot of women don't get through this, and you did it. That was an incredible moment. The other one that pops into my mind, after the second, the breast cancer in the summer, I had a test and no cancer was detected. Yeah. Oh, there's so much joy. Being with Colin as he passed was the most amazing, amazing gift, and most heartbreaking as well.
Yeah.
But he's still with me. And oh, Sonia, so many joys. You know, soon after the first cancer, and the last chemo and the surgery and all of that. And I remember walking outside, and it was springtime, and I said, "Okay, why did I live? Why have I lived?" And I just looked at every flower, every tree, and I think, oh, I lived to have this conversation with my mother. And we've have gotten very, very close. She's turning 94 in
Wow.
August. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Wow.
So I live to have this amazing conversation, right? I live to have this giggle and laughter with my dear friend. I live to have this hug. I live to meet these amazing people that I can remind them of their healing journey and their healer within. So
To
yeah,
be
so much
here to
joy.
encourage people with this, because I think the way you're living your journey, that is just beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're strong and resilient, and I'm so happy and so grateful that you're here today. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. You're lovely. Your sensitivity and your openness is just shining.
I think I'm just reciprocating because you have so much of it.
Mirror, mirror, right? Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned before that you've never grieved like this. Did you grieve a loss, or did you grieve what should have been?
Both. Absolutely both. And all of the above.
No.
It comes in waves, you know? It comes in waves. You just never know what's going to trigger you. And it's okay. I have fully accepted it. And there seems to be more of an integration, you know. June, it'll be a year. But it's quite a journey with grief and cancer together. And he was there for me, helping me with that first cancer. He was just he was amazing. He says, I want to give back to you everything you've given to me. And but it's amazing the soul connections we have and the relationships we have, and how we're there for each other.
It always, it shouldn't surprise me, but it does surprise me how people show up. People that you never expected to show up. And in ways that you can't imagine.
Exactly. Exactly.
Human beings are just so special and incredible and surprising.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love hearing that, Sonia.
What would you, if somebody is watching and sitting in your chair today, what do you want her to know?
There are endless possibilities for their journey. And there's more, there's more, there's more. And this cancer is a wake-up call. And you know, be willing to take those leaps of courage, to be so honest with yourself of what's really true for you. Emotionally, you know, usually there's so much exhaustion, right? Before your diagnosis, or you haven't been taking care of yourself. You may be in work that is not fulfilling. You may be in relationships where you're compensating way too much. And you are on a journey, and there's so much possibilities. But we got to be willing to take those next steps, right? To be so honest with ourselves. Be willing to honor our bodies, honor our nervous system. With trauma, our nervous system is just fried.
Yeah.
So to really honor and respect your body, your mind, your heart, your soul. Just keeps falling out. Yeah, to love yourself in the most healthiest way, the most respectful way, and then that will go out to all your loved ones, your community. But we got to start with ourselves.
What does loving yourself look like? What does it mean for somebody who feels in the middle of, you've been there in the middle of chemo where you are bloated and no hair and you don't feel like yourself? A part of your identity feels lost.
Oh, that's so true.
How do
Oh
you
God,
love
that's
yourself?
it.
What does that look like practically?
Yeah, you nailed it, Sonia. It's those identities. And that's also what happened when Colin passed. Like, who am I? Right? It was one thing, who am I after cancer? Who am I during cancer? Who am I? Yeah. I think in my experiences with when I was doing chemo, I just did it. I just got up and did it and got through it. I think, and then, you've got a number of days afterwards where you just feel like, I just want to get into bed, pull the covers over me, and yeah, not talk to anybody. And then there was those days where, the sun's shining. Maybe I have a little bit of energy to go for a little walk, or even just sit in the sun. Go sit with nature. Talk about your feelings. Talk about your feelings. Don't try to take on a new identity, right? I think it's embracing this human experience as well. That was another moment. I remember coming into the living room and I had my little cap on, and Bella, our dog, was on the couch and Colin was watching TV, and it's like, here we are. Normal, ordinary. Here we are. And I think appreciating even getting out of bed.
Yes.
Yeah. The gratitude. Finding gratitude.
That's a big one.
It's a big one. Big one. We have that in our Qigong class, and it's so important. So important. And how it affects our body. The kidneys, the whole reproductive system. Gratitude can transform fear.
Yes, because fear and gratitude, actually, resentment and gratitude, fear and gratitude, all of the negatives and gratitude don't live in the same space.
Exactly.
So if you fill up on the one, you may have less of the other,
Yes.
for sure. Is there something that we didn't touch on that you really wanted us to touch on today?
Yeah, I think it's the self-honoring. And this precious human birth. And yes, huge challenges, huge adversities we have. But that's what it's all part of that. And when we can be curious and open to new possibilities, whoa, wait a minute, maybe I can look at this a little different, or a little deeper, and learn about transforming that resentment, that fear, to courage, to more compassion for ourselves and others.
It was such an honor and such a blessing to meet you and have this conversation. And I'm so appreciative of you being open and vulnerable and brave and just sharing your story. I know, like you said, there will be a ripple from this, so that people can see what it can look like. So thank you. It was so beautiful.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you for your courage, your vulnerability, your love and care, because I can really see that in you. Your beautiful empathic nature that has its ups and downs, I know. And we got to take care of ourselves in that empathic place. Yeah, it's really been a joy and a pleasure and an honor to do this. When you reached out, I knew, I was like, I got to connect with this lady.
Thank
A
you so
kindred
much.
spirit, as we say.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Lots of love.